Islam.
How?
It's a tough fight. I think it's a submission.
Usually you feel it slowly fading away. It was like right away.
Wow, so that dude's got a back.
Like the whole started
drive-through movie on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Islam. Heavy favorite here, rightfully so. Both great fighters. Islam, pound for pound, still number one right now. And yeah, so
I believe it's gonna be a very, very competitive fight. Islam is great, and he will believe he's gonna do his thing and try to take me down.
Islam is just so good. They're always prepared. They're always overly prepared, and it's. I think it's gonna be one of those situations. Is if it gets taken to the ground, Ian's very smart at just holding. Right, we've seen him Shotcut take him down a couple times and just hold that guard position. But
interesting. See, I'm one of those girls who's terrible at being single. That's the first thing. I end up in relationships when I didn't want to, right? This was meant to be a one-night stand, and that's not very well at all, right? This was meant to be a one-night stand. That was the agreement. We've never left.
Makhachev, in terms of if he gets you down, it's definitely a very different. Do you feel like he will get to him at least once in a 5-round fight, enough to finish a submission?
Before Islam Makhachev steps into the octagon with Ian Garry, the fighters who have shared the cage with him are offering their takes on the matchup. From Makhachev's evolving striking to his suffocating grappling, his former opponents break down what could decide UFC 330.
Фури очень сильный ударник, он реально опасен в стойке, может попасть тяжело и вполне способен нокаутировать. Но если честно, я думаю, что Ислам все-таки на шаг впереди. Он очень сильно прибавил в стойке, а его грэпплинг — это вообще другой уровень, поэтому я считаю, что он может...
Jack Della Maddalena points to a clear evolution in Islam Makhachev's stand-up, noting the champion now looks sharper, more polished, and far less one-dimensional.
I mean, I think he's definitely gotten better, like 100%. He's
more
all around, like definitely the striking for sure.
Yeah.
Like he's
better striking than Khabib, I think. More cleaner striking than Khabib.
Yeah, more weapons, more cleaner. It's not as rushing as Khabib, So yeah, he's definitely improved. Like you look at his first fight compared to where he's at now, it's a lot better.
Building on that, Alexander Volkanovski highlights Islam Makhachev's grappling edge, pointing to control, positioning, and awareness that keep Makhachev steps ahead once in dominant positions.
But again, Islam's grappling, wrestling, inter-grappling and control is elite. So he's got a real good understanding of mechanics, that awareness of where the body and weight is. Islam's going to be aware of, he's turning a build, post on that arm and post on me. He's going to already be shutting that down, making it hard for you to get yourself to a position where you can build up, maybe get your knees under you or get your hips under you. He knows you need an elbow to turn over to get your hips and knees under you, right? He's going to know that. He's going to be steps ahead and not let you build up that way.
Meanwhile, Alexander Volkanovski still favors Makhachev despite Gary's potential. He highlights Islam's versatility, composure, intelligence, and ability to adjust under pressure, expecting those qualities to carry him through another successful title defense.
Islam's hard to find. For someone who's a wrestler you think would be a pressure fighter, he's very good on the back foot. He's very good at distance, very good at catching you coming in, and when you're really fully committed, he either catches you with punches. If you commit and open yourself up, he's got beautiful takedowns and beautiful shots. So I think there's opportunities there for him to edge around. So I'm going to have to go with the favorite on this one. So I went most underdogs on that.
Furthermore, Arman Tsarukyan favors Islam Makhachev to finish the fight early via submission. Beyond the matchup, Tsarukyan views losses as crucial for growth, highlighting how defeats expose flaws and teach lessons necessary for improvement.
Same guy.
Islam just finish him in the first round, choke him out. The lose is gonna give him a lot of lessons, not to be overconfident, respect your opponent, and keep grinding,
Adding to this perspective, Arman notes Ian Garry's long-range kicks could pose problems, but expects Islam Makhachev's takedown timing to lead to ground control and a third-round submission.
Garry, Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, too tough for Garry. Garry has a good striking. I think on the striking, Garry, on the long distance with his kicks, he can make problem for Islam, but Islam has a good timing of takedown. He's gonna take him down and most likely submit round number 3 fall. Yeah.
Offering a different angle, Dustin Poirier stresses that simply surviving against Islam Makhachev will not be enough. Ian Garry must actively disrupt Makhachev's rhythm to create a genuine chance of winning. Dustin Poirier said, "Garry can't just focus on surviving. He has to make an impact, because if he stays defensive, Islam's pressure and control will eventually take over." Expanding on that, Poirier also points to the importance of Garry capitalizing when the right moments present themselves. For Ian, converting those openings could play a major role in determining whether he can get his hand raised. Dustin Poirier said, "I think Ian wins this fight if he can hurt Islam with his striking. I don't see him getting the decision or submitting to him. For me, Ian needs to find a finish to get the win." In addition, Shavkat Rakhmonov notes Ian Garry's improved wrestling, highlighting it as a far more reliable asset that could prove crucial for defending grappling exchanges against Islam Makhachev.
Считаю, что Иан Гарри выиграл. Безусловно, там никакой спора, ничего не должен быть. Все. Молодец, хорошо работает.
Yeah, I believe he performed well, and he beat Bilal convincingly. He outstrike him, didn't let him out-wrestle himself, defended takedowns. So overall, he performed very well. And
even with Garry's progress, Rakhmonov gives the advantage to Makhachev. He expects a competitive fight, but trusts Islam's experience and ability to adjust under pressure to neutralize Ian's strengths and find the openings he needs.
И понимать, что самый серьезный соперник для них и это я. Если правда говорить.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be a very, very competitive fight. Islam is great, and he will believe he's going to do his thing and try to take me down.
Belal Muhammad, meanwhile, warns that an early takedown could completely alter the matchup. He gives Garry credit for surviving tough grappling battles, but considers Makhachev's submission threat far more dangerous. Once Islam gets the fight to the ground, Belal expects the danger to increase immediately.
Yeah, he's doing some interviews this week. He's saying, the worst thing that can happen to me is Islam lays on me for 25 minutes. There's no threat in my mind for a submission or a striking related finish. Is that simplifying it too much, or do you think Ian's onto something there?
If that's the case, then it's the worst thing that could happen for Islam is Ian just runs the whole time. So it's like, regardless. But if he gets taken down, it's not going to be the same situation as when Shavkat took him down. Ian did a good job of just holding him, right? He's not going to be able to hold him in his guard. The guy got Islam. I think Islam is more of a threat on the ground than Shavkat was. If he thinks, if he takes me down, I'm just going to hold my guard, body triangle him, and then just wait for the ref to stand us up. That's not going to be the case.
At the same time, Belal points to the areas where Garry could surprise people. He highlights Ian's ability to read fights, prepare intelligently, and build a strategy around his opponent. Even with Makhachev operating at an elite level, Belal considers Garry capable of making the matchup far more competitive than many expect.
I just think a lot of people are just underestimating Ian. I think he's very smart with the way he fights and the way he strategizes and game plans. But obviously, Islam is pound for pound, right? But I think breaking down both guys, I'll get more in depth with striking, grappling, all those situations. But I definitely think Ian's a live dog, right?
Meanwhile, Joe Rogan points to the problems Makhachev creates once he gets into his comfort zone. He notes that Garry could struggle to keep Islam from dictating the exchanges and bringing his strongest weapons into play.
And he gets a hold of you, you're Bill. He has a different kind of wrestling. Different kind of grappling.
Well, if Ian can't keep him off of him, I don't see how he him on the ground.
His submissions are insane too. He's just got a vice grip, man.
I know.
Everybody that he rolls with, or everybody that he fights, rather, they all say, I've never been grabbed like that.
Rogan also points to Garry's ability to create problems from the opening exchanges. Ian's quick hands, sharp combinations, and movement allow him to land cleanly, while his accuracy makes his striking effective without relying on brute force.
He's fast and he's super accurate. And the way he throws his strikes is real clean. Yeah. No fat in his move. Pop, pop. Yeah. Everything's tap, tap. He doesn't
very
have
responsible.
Yeah, he's not a physically overpowering guy. It's technique. His technique is sharp.
Yeah. Did you see his interaction that time with Khamzat?
Yeah.
John Jones, however, gives Makhachev the advantage because of his ability to control the fight from start to finish. He points to Islam's world-class ground game and his knack for forcing opponents into the positions he wants. Jones also highlights the champion's discipline, preparation, and commitment as key factors behind his sustained success.
Yeah, Islam's going to fight against Ian Garry next, right? I assume that Islam's going to win that one just because of his wrestling pedigree. You know, to be able to dictate if the fight's going to be standing or on the ground, it's a great gift. Another guy with a strong team behind him, strong faith. I'm not rooting for anyone in that fight because I don't know either one of those guys on the personal level, but I'm assuming that Islam's going to win. That's my prediction.
Thank you so much for your time.
Similarly, Georges St-Pierre highlights the way Makhachev connects different areas of his game without giving opponents a clear opening. Islam can move from striking into takedowns and ground control with little warning, creating a complete style that makes his next move difficult to read.
Like currently the top guys are Ian Garry, Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, all who are very dangerous in their own ways, but it seems like, you know, skill for skill, Islam has the ground edge over all of them. It's just, can he continue to level up on these guys?
Yeah, I think Islam has the edge in terms of skills because he's more well-rounded. He can do it all, and he, especially with his grappling, he's got an edge in that department. And I think that's what he's gonna try to go for when he fights one of these guys.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how far he can go. If he can hit 20 UFC wins, that's another thing I never thought, like in a row, that I never thought.
On the other side, Chael Sonnen outlines a demanding path for Ian Garry. He highlights Ian's range and stand-up ability as important weapons, but stresses that keeping the fight away from Makhachev's grappling will be essential for Garry to have success.
One of the most important and helpful tools you can have in a fight, the one they never talk about, the one that the strike list never puts enough focus on, is height. Height is a massive advantage in this sport. Can Ian stop Islam from taking him down? If not, can he get up off the bottom? If Ian in camp right now is spending in the bottom position, the day the coach comes in and says, we're going to focus and work on the problems from this position, if he is spending more time finding a submission than he is escaping, I already have my answer. No, he cannot beat him. If he's conceding that he's going to be down, he can't beat him. And if he gets taken down, he's trying to concede and find different ways he can win from his back, he's not going to beat him.
Offering another prediction, Carlos Prates leans toward Islam Makhachev, but still gives Ian Garry a realistic chance to pull off the upset. Prates expects Garry to make the matchup difficult and is personally rooting for him, with the possibility of a rematch adding even more intrigue.
Who do you think is going to win the fight?
But I think the favorite, you know, like is Makhachev, you know, and I think he's gonna win. But I really think like Ian have some skills to beat Islam. You know, he can beat Islam. He have a real chance to beat Islam.
And
I want him to win, and then we can do a rematch for the belt. Would be amazing.
Craig Jones, however, offers a far more favorable assessment of Ian Garry's chances. Jones points to Garry's style as a potential problem for Makhachev, suggesting Ian can create unfamiliar exchanges and prevent Islam from comfortably dictating the fight. In his view, a Garry victory would be a realistic outcome rather than a major upset.
Think Ian Garry could beat Islam?
You know, I actually do. I actually do think he has a very good chance at beating Islam. I remember watching, so what Islam does really, obviously does a bunch of things incredibly well. Like I slander him at any chance I get, but truly appreciate every ounce of technique he does. And one of his most beautiful takedowns is a single leg where a guy digs an underhook and he turns it into a clubbing takedown. And now Shovcut tried that exact move on Ian Garry, and Ian Garry countered it and ended up on Shovcut's back. So I think an open space takedown, Islam's go-to. Ian Garry does have a very good answer too.
Adding to Garry's case, Pete Carroll highlights a major shift in Garry's growth. No longer relying just on finishes, Garry now fights with greater precision, versatility, and tactical adaptability, qualities essential for handling Makhachev.
Ian has gone on to amazing things. He's changed a lot as a fighter, I think, in terms of how he fights. He was probably more of a stoppage guy in those early days, but his IQ is unbelievable. I think he has an incredible mind. I think he really zones in on how to fight different opponents and finds a way to do that. So it's going to be very interesting, given the odds stacked against him, fighting the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev.
On the other hand, Sean Brady downplays Garry's size, arguing reach only matters until Makhachev gets inside to force a grappling battle. Brady also questions if Garry has the stopping power to keep Makhachev from forcing that shift.
I don't know, because Garry is tall, he's long, but he's not like a Morales where he's like big and strong as well. Like
Ian's not putting guys out with one shot. He doesn't really have that capability. So I don't think it's going to be too hard for Islam to get him down. Like, yeah, Ian's definitely long, but Ian's tall, but his reach is only 74 inches. So it's not like he has a
like a crazy reach. Yeah.
Where it'd be a lot harder to get past his arms. I just think it's one-way traffic for Islam. I think he's going to get him down, and I think he will sub him.
Looking at it from another angle, Din Thomas points to key tactical elements that make Ian Garry an awkward matchup for Makhachev. Rather than relying on pure physicality, Garry excels at controlling space, reading subtle cues, and adjusting tactics on the fly. Adaptability, Thomas believes, could disrupt Makhachev's rhythm and present unfamiliar challenges.
And sometimes we forget how good he is because we want to not like him because he says things or does things, or when we vilify a fighter, we tend to hang on to that. And we've done that with Ian Garry. Like whatever he did in the past, we tend to hang on to that. And then we also forget about how good he really is. He's got great footwork. He's got a really high IQ for fighting. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's long, he's rangy, he's got a lot of experience now. He's always been getting better along the way. And he's got wins over guys that guys never could really figure out. Like, he's got a win over Michael Venom Page. No one could really figure out Michael Venom Page. Ian Garry's got a win over him. Carlos Prates, he's an absolute killer right now. Ian Garry's got a win over him. So the fact that he's able to find ways to beat guys that no one else can beat makes him a very dangerous opponent for...
From Makhachev's corner, Javier Mendez gives Islam the upper hand because of his championship-level experience. He acknowledges Garry's physical advantages, quickness, scrambling ability, and defensive wrestling, but expects Islam's composure, adjustments, and control to eventually tilt the fight in his favor.
I think he's gonna have to fight where he can fight, but he's not gonna dictate. He's not. Islam is going to cut him off. He's going to do whatever he needs to do what he wants to do. It's going to be Islam's way, not Ian's way. It's going to be Islam's way. You know, how that's going to happen, I don't know. We will wait to go into the fight, but we'll be prepared for him, and we're not underestimating him. We'd be foolish to do so because he's very tricky. He is long, and he's fast. He's got good, he's got fast hands, fast kicks, and, he's got decent takedown defense too, so he's always scrambling too. So he's not going to be easy, but I'm just saying Islam has seen all of this before, so it's not like we're meeting somebody that we haven't met in sparring gym, or actually he hasn't sparred anybody like that in a real fight. He has. So we're fine. We're going to be fine with him. As long as we're healthy and the Islam that I have, that's who he is right now, we'll be fine.
Merab Davalishvili, however, outlines a much different route for Ian Garry. He stresses the need for Ian to shut down Makhachev's takedown attempts and keep the exchanges at range. If Garry maintains that distance, Merab expects his quickness, precision, and footwork to create major problems for Islam.
Champion, and he has a lot of experience, but I think Ian Garry has a chance.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think so. Ian Garry has to stop his takedowns, and striking, Ian Garry is very smart, calculated fighter.
Ray Longo acknowledges that Ian Machado Garry's size and unpredictable movement could make things difficult for Makhachev. However, Longo gives Islam the advantage because of his complete skill set, calm under pressure, and elite-level grappling.
And what are your thoughts about Ian's chances?
Look, well, first off, obviously you got to get the wrestling squared away, which isn't easy to do because the guy's at a super high level, but there is a big size discrepancy, Ken. You know what I mean? Like there is, he is long and lanky. I think he's awkward. He's not like the most technically sound. And I think that actually is going to give Islam trouble, because I think he's just a little quirky with everything. And he's got the size, I think, to give this guy trouble. He's big. Ian Garry's a big kid. This is a big 170-pounder. So I'm really curious to see how it plays out. But Islam is so squared away every way, and he's dedicated, puts the time in with training and all that stuff. So I think it's a great matchup. I think it's a really, really good matchup.
Longo also highlights the unusual challenge Ian Garry brings with his frame and unconventional approach. He considers Ian's movement difficult to replicate in preparation and expects the matchup to reveal how effectively Makhachev can deal with a physically bigger opponent.
He's a huge welterweight which is going to pose a problem. I think he's got an awkward style. He's got, he moves a lot, and he seems to find a way to win fights. So I think this is a really tough matchup for Islam because of the size and the fact that he's had you kind of know what's going to happen. And I'm interested to see how that plays out. But this will be, I think, a really true test of where Islam is as a welterweight, because this kid's huge. He is a big welterweight.
Kenny Florian identifies Gary's long-range weapons as potential problems early, particularly his jab and kicks. Still, Florian expects Makhachev to gradually take those tools away by cutting the distance, applying consistent pressure, and turning the fight into a grappling battle where Islam can dictate the action.
I think that's a factor. There's no question about it. Not only is he 6'3", he knows how to use it. He fights long. He throws a lot of kicks down the middle, kicks upstairs, and the jab is probably the best striking weapon that he has. So I think for Islam Makhachev, it's all about getting in on those legs or getting to the body in some way, shape, or form. And that's also a blessing and a curse in that, against taller fighters, level changes are also easier to hit. Now, you got to be careful with knees down the middle and things like that on those level changes. But it is a factor. How he closes the distance, how small he can make the cage is going to be very important for him. I do think, though, once he's able to get Ian Garry on the ground, I don't think it's going to happen round one. If he does, it's possible, but I think he's going to have to break him down bit by bit. And then as Ian Garry starts to get frustrated and, the mistakes start to happen, that's where I think Islam Makhachev can capitalize on the ground with a submission. But
with so many different predictions surrounding this matchup, UFC 330 is shaping up to be a major test for both men. Makhachev brings elite grappling and championship experience, while Garry enters with size, movement, and a rapidly evolving skill set. Who comes out on top? Drop your prediction in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more UFC breakdowns.